guys. I hope you're having a good day. So, this was trending on Twitter, I guess right after the holiday. Um, and it's also on Instagram as well. People are having a conversation. I'm going to play some of the comments and then I'll come back.
The prayer. What do you say? Because that's all people want to know.
Really?
You be acting like you don't hear people asking you the damn question. What was the prayer? That's what they want to know. What was it?
Oh,
Because I pray with you many nights. I'm like,
I'm
did you keep that one?
you.
Did you
But the
keep
point,
that
the
one?
point is what you just said, that I prayed many nights.
Okay.
I think that's the biggest thing is like, people always say the prayer. It's not just one prayer. It's multiple prayers. Like, especially, when you're going through a big transition in life. Like for me, as we, all know, I was single mom in it. That was something I never envisioned, never imagined.
Mhm.
And I think at that point, when you're in a time like that in your life, you have to think about like exactly where you are and where you want to go. And so,
Because I remember you always telling me like you have to envision it, speak it, believe
you have
it.
to, because if you don't have a vision for where you're trying to get to, you'll just keep shooting in the dark. You won't get anywhere. And so I think that was the biggest thing is like, I knew at that place in my time, at that time in my life, that for me, I had to be
Look at
intentional.
Russ.
No, I did. I had to be intentional.
Well, the funny thing is that everybody asks, what the prayer was for Ciara, but nobody really asked me what was the prayer for me.
Nobody ever. You're right. Nobody. Okay, bro. What was the prayer for you?
So let me tell y'all something. I was single. I was doing, hanging out, doing thing, whatever that means.
Doing what, bro? Doing what thing?
You know what I'm saying?
Okay, so I saw this kind of trending, not just on Twitter, but on Instagram as well. People were saying, why are women not asking for Remy Ma's prayer? Now, I was a little surprised by some of the stuff coming from actual women, a little bit more so than the guys, because I've said this before. I feel like men don't like Russell. They don't like the image of someone like Russell. Because he is an example of what could happen if people decided to do, or at least attempt to do the right things, right? And that's it. That's all. That's why they don't like him. A lot of them, they were either raised to believe that doing some of the stuff that they're doing is a way of life, and it somehow is impressing someone somewhere. And so they really believe in a lot of the nonsense that they think and that they do. And they don't really understand, for some people, how it honestly and truly look. Now, so when they see someone like Russell who's doing the opposite of what everybody else is doing, they're gonna take issue with it. And I've said this before in a video. Now, with that said, I think that people do respect the relationship between Papoose and Remy Ma without having to ask for her prayer. Right, you guys get what I'm saying? Because number one, the prayer came from Ciara herself. It's not like black women, fired up their computers to start creating some Ciara's prayer. Ciara, she was the one who raised this conversation. So this is why people are talking about that. And the guy on Twitter, you could tell that he tried to twist and turn that conversation to make it about money, because what they're trying to say is that she's only married to Russell because Russell has money. How could she go from someone like Future to Russell? But then she also dated Bow Wow. Were also going, well, how could she go from someone like Bow Wow to 50 Cent, right? And some, other people she may have dated. So some women are open to different type of personalities. People who are coming from different walks of life. That has no one's just because I date a Future type don't mean every time you see me with a man he needs to be Future. So that's what I'm saying. It's the ridiculousness of it all that some of these guys will create, and a lot of this is this Kevin Samuels and the rest of these Black Manosphere driven foolery that they're spreading around and trying to convince Black women that they have no right to see themselves in certain lifestyles, right? And I think I was just kind of talking about that with the Dennis. I'm not saying Dennis necessarily was trying to say that about Portia, but I just felt a way about him saying that she only had a baby with him because he had money. Portia said she wanted to have a baby long before we ever knew who Dennis was, right? So I think that was what was leading her to have a child, is because she really wanted to have one. And like I said, Portia was already in the industry. She was already building a name for herself. She was already married to a rich guy before. So for people to sit and think that these women who are in these positions should not be marrying men who are, able to give them a certain lifestyle, is somebody out here trying to convince you that you don't deserve that. So, and I said what I said on that. I don't care who don't like what I said. No one has a right to tell someone that this is what you deserve and this is not what you deserve. And like I said, I already said why I feel like Black men don't like Russell, and they don't like the fact that he's married to Ciara, because now there is an example. There is, that people can point to say, here's a guy who's at least trying to do the right things, right? And I think the same thing can be said about Papoose as well. Papoose is not chicken scratch. It's not like Remy Ma found him on the streets, number one. He's an artist himself, and they met, I'm sure, in that way. To be honest, I don't really think I know their full backstory. To be really honest, I started hearing their story at the back of her getting, arrested or what have you, going to jail. And that's when I heard their story. And there's not a lot of men that would do what he, support her the way that he supported her through all of that as well. So he is rare. So I think people do respect their union. And for the women who are saying that, people are talking about Ciara's prayer, because Ciara was talking about Ciara's prayer. She put in the universe what she wanted, and what she was going to accept, and that's what she feels that she got. Like people were saying, we don't know what goes on in these people's households. No, we don't. But it is refreshing sometimes to see Black people in particular, or minorities, who are in the media not acting out and keeping up a bunch of foolery all the time. It is nice to have these examples as well, and not just the other ones. And I think the whole discussion about marriage is about maturity. I think a lot of these guys are not mature enough, and they didn't have the examples. They don't know if they can handle it. And instead of them having real honest conversations about that, they rather do the things the way that they're doing it. And so I think that a lot of that has to do with maturity as well. Papoose is clearly a man. Russell is a man. So that is the difference. You guys could let me know what you think about this conversation. How did you feel about some of the comments that people were making on Twitter, around this guy bringing up, why are women not asking for Remy Ma's prayer? Because Remy Ma didn't tell you she had no prayer, that she was doing no praying. That's why, and it's very simple. It's not rocket science for people to figure that out. I think people, like I said, trying to build that into something else, are doing that for their own reasons, and they're trying to create their own agenda with that. I mean, they're working their own agenda with that. Now, if I can remember, if I can find the name of where I got this video from of Ciara and Russell, and she was pregnant with when they had this conversation. I'll put it up because I think that this is an important conversation. I like the fact that he said that he had his own prayer as well. So they were both in that same space, and maybe that is what that the connection truly is, and it's not about the fact that he's worth X amount of dollars, the way people are trying to paint that. I'm sure Remy Ma dated people who had money before she met Papoose, and I'm sure, well, we know for a fact that Ciara has as well. So this is not just about them marrying someone with money, you know, and for anyone trying to tell black women that they don't have a right to, you know, hope for and wish for stability in a man or from a man is BS. And y'all gonna have to go back to Kevin Samuels' page for the rest of that foolery. Let me know what you guys think about this conversation, and I will see you in the next video.